Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags favored by 4 against the Colts, who have not won in Jacksonville since the late 90s, seemingly. And this is the first time we'll have a rematch in the 2023 NFL season.
Really?
The first rematch of the season.
Of the season.
It's a young – I don't like this, Sam. I don't like when two division teams –
do the other way, right? It's all at the end.
Yeah, they usually play division games at the end. Jacksonville does play the Titans the last week of the season, but it's weird, yeah. Jags will have their division games all done by week 12, other than one game against the Titans. So the Jags, week 1, they beat the Colts 31-21. It was Anthony Richardson's debut. Is that the game he got banged up? Yeah, he got banged.
He got banged up in basically all the games.
He did, in all of them. But yeah, Jags won pretty handily in week 1. There was a fumble 6 in there that made it a little bit closer. But Jags look great in week 1, and they've been pretty good against the Colts at home.
Yeah, and it's a weird run for the Colts. They don't ever beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Last week was their first win at home for some ungodly period of time. Like, they're running into all these streaks where they can't win randomly. But now you get Minshew at quarterback. I don't know that he's any worse than Richardson. He may even be a tick better, but it's different, and it's simpler, right? It's a different dynamic. You don't have to be concerned about him running, really. Certainly not as part of the designed run game. It's a different type of defense that Jacksonville has to deploy to slow that down. But I think Minshew operates this offense well. Like, it's not a problem that he's their quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the other day, Minshew's 31 for 37 in the games that he's relieved Anthony Richardson and came in after the injury. His one start was against the Ravens. I know they won it, and he made a couple plays down the stretch, but he took 5 sacks. He wasn't great necessarily in that game. But yeah, Minshew's good. He's a good, solid player.
Big development, I guess, in this offense as the season is wearing on. Remember, we said it's reaching the point that Alec Pierce looks like a problem. He's just not taking that step forward and becoming that clear number 2 that they needed him to be, or needed somebody to be, with Michael Pittman as their top guy. Just in terms of production and targets, he's being jumped by Josh Downs now, and that's a good thing, I think. Like, the less he features in the offense, seemingly, the better they're going to be. So now that you've got Michael Pittman and Josh Downs as your top 2, with then tight ends and running backs, I think that's an improvement for them.
So Downs, where did he go in the 3rd round? He was I would have taken him in the 2nd. I would have been okay with that. Goes the 3rd round, 80th overall. You and I were putting Downs in the Tank Dell, Zay Flowers conversation because we were lower on Zay Flowers than others. Downs is good, man.
Yeah,
he had a nice couple big gains in the game last week. Love the way he attacks the ball at the catch point. I thought he was better than all those short receivers at attacking the catch point and winning in contested situations. So we'll see more opportunities there. And then, which Jags team do we get here? They've held the Chiefs and the Bills to 37 points across 2 games. They also gave up a 30 spot plus 7 to the Texans, 7 on special teams. Can the Jags find this level of consistency? Because I think high-end Jags is pretty good, man. High-end Jags looks good.
Yeah, and obviously Downs and Alec Pierce are not directly comparable because one of them is essentially playing 80% of his snaps in the slot. The other one's playing 90% out wide. But the point being, they're not, like, they've moved where they're targeting. They've gone away from throwing the ball in Pierce's general direction to throwing the ball way more at Josh Downs, which is the important part.
One matchup to watch. I don't know if Bernard Ryman's going to be back at left tackle. Looks like he's questionable again. I hate it. Non-model on model crime potential here.
Non-model on
You've
model
got,
crime.
If Blake Freeland, model guy, developmental tackle guy, I mean, got to wait till 2025 before he's ready. But he's been put out there the last couple weeks. 2 really bad pass blocking grades the last couple weeks. Just not ready. Just not ready. Trayvon Walker breakout game, man. Trayvon Walker has the power.
Was Ryman a model guy?
Yes.
Good.
How about that?
Ryman's good.
Yeah. 3rd round hit.
Yeah.
Looks better than non-model 1st round tackles because, that's how the model works, baby. But yeah, Freeland does not look like he's ready from a pass pro standpoint. No. He'll face Josh Allen. You'll see some Trayvon Walker. The Jags will move guys around, but that's been bit of a problem spot in pass protection, just a matchup to watch there.
That would be huge because that changes. Like Jacksonville is still Josh Allen, the edge rusher, and nobody else in terms of pressure. Like no one else is getting consistent pressure or winning one-on-ones. If Blake Freeland being there suddenly transforms anybody on that side to being another viable pass rusher, that's a game changer for them.
Yeah, I also think the Colts have gotten decent play from their rookie corners, Juju Brents and Jalen Jones. They're out there at week 1. Calvin Ridley had his way. I think the Jags are going to start finding their way with all their playmakers. Travis Etienne running the ball pretty well. I like the Jags. 4 is a lot, man.
Give the Jags credit for making that change, by the way, for Darius Williams. Remember the undersized, tiny cornerback, 5'9", 190. And when he signed with Jacksonville, he went from he's an outside corner with the Rams. They put him in the slot because that's what you do with 5'9" corners. And he's not a good slot corner, but he plays really well on the outside. And they made that switch last season. They're like, you know what, this isn't working. Let's put him back on the outside where he's better. And since that point, he's gone back to being as good as he's ever been.
Really
he had 2 grades for the Rams where he had an 81-point-something coverage grade. And then he got hurt. He came to Jacksonville off a bad year. But then he was 64.6 when they played him last year, including the better play outside. This year, almost exclusively outside, back to 82. He's literally been essentially an 82 graded guy when he's been playing on the outside and playing a full season.
Yeah, I like Darius Williams. Good player. Him and Tyson Campbell had a breakout year last year. He's looking good again. So, look, the Jags defense has had a lot of good games. Weird one against the Texans, busted coverages and everything. It was almost like what we watched at practice. Remember we went to practice and saw the Jags defense look terrible, but everyone told us the day before they were great.
Right.
They're just inconsistent. So predicting the Jags is never fun, but I'll take them to win again and cover the 4.
I am as well. We're very aligned this week.
Very aligned so far.